So I've been taking a hot minute to absorb some basics of what I know about the willcock situation. So as you know, um, those of you who know me, by the time I was getting fully involved with alt media in 2012 with Revolution Radio, I was just as much a whole let's deal with 9/11, let's deal with the Federal Reserve, let's deal with the UFO situation and all that. I was in all of the big discussions that were permeating the underground, which has now come to the forefront of what anybody who matters is talking about, involved with. But the world has changed in significant ways, and some of us get very consumed with pride. And sometimes you don't realize that you don't need to be particularly attached to an idea to continue to do hard, good, well-respected work within a field. Right? The subject of extraterrestrials and their presence here keeps moving on, keeps going forward, all sorts of people involved. For some strange reason, that wasn't good enough for David. David needed to be more. David needed to have his own special sauce, understanding, connection, and most absolute and best proposed solutions that could work. Hey, what's up, Apocalypsis? And various, like you could say delusions of grandeur, which is to be delusional and to have grandiosity. Even Cliff High. Cliff High came out on an interview, people trying to make sense of what happened to willcock, and Cliff, who knew willcock, and willcock was too far gone to want to confide with anybody that liked him and respected what he had been doing up until that point. And, when you get your promise broken about the way things are supposed to be by a certain time, because we're talking about, the 2012 event, we're talking about the arrival of the benevolent blue chickens, and all these other disclosures on the horizon, including some kind of disclosure that allegedly will be made from the hell? What happened to its wheels? You have no idea. Like, it looks like the most expensive, old school, beautiful blue Cadillac. I'm just like, is this like a Latino guy who had his shocks all the way down? And no, I don't see fucking wheels on the back of it. And it's not up on blocks. The guy just took the wheels off and left it there on the ground like that? That's like a collector's car. Anyway, that's not important right now. And I'm talking about, like, you paint that thing black, it's a Batmobile Cadillac. It's one of those classics. Hey, what's up, Howard and Jayon? So he had his whole, oh, I'm a reincarnation of Edward Casey, just look at me and just see how I have found myself involved with psychic paranormal things, right? Man, that's a horrible way to interpret things. It's, people are lost in their own freaking narratives, right? They're, the support for David's Dasein had collapsed, and some debt he was banking on was never going to be repaid, and some credible future had been swept out from under the rug from him. I know, I can tell. I don't have to fucking go and reintroduce myself to fucking, like, catch up on what David was fucking doing or anything like that. None of it necessary. Not necessary at all. But we are just in a state of really you're looking at, like, what happened to David is what New Age ufology is doing to itself. It's alienating itself, ironically enough, that being the appropriate word. So, we've had an alien occupation since 2020, because 2020 we were all social distancing and locking down. That is a form of alienizing. So, we're living in an alien invasion. This world is completely alien from the world we knew 7 years ago. And we don't know how to reconcile that. So we continue to wait for the restoration of, like, meaningful sports. Not that sports are ever meaningful, but meaningful to the people who liked these meaningless things. Meaningful movies, which those are meaningful, right? It's like there was a great deal of fantasy, magical, like, I don't like the term magical thinking used as a negative, but I understand it as a contextually negative principle in the merit of when you cannot operate within rational reality. Magic still needs to work within the rational world in front of you. Magic is kind of like you're negotiating an aspect of ontological shift. Okay? So it's like I can't without the agreement of everybody that would be forced to be affected by it, I cannot make the sky red. I cannot change the color of trees to purple bark that all twists in a particular kind of way and the leaves are blue. Right? I can't rearrange reality like that. on my own. So, it's hard to say when it's good to be participating in a mass ritual. Getting a large enough group of people to tip the scale of the psychic field and allow the realm to manifest alternatively in accordance to the new will. And that is more true of what David ought to have been doing. But that's not the framework in which he understood what he was doing. Because everything was very existential. And he's just a guy who's got a special tap into the existential specialness. Right? You know, and he's the guy who's worked very hard to be involved, doing this thing, which is his big important thing, because it brings us to a level of freedom, of humanity and life, affirming a world with liberating technologies that make everything better and allow us to really accelerate what we do, right? And unfortunately, when you get that level of self-importance, you don't want to go look for a goddamn fucking job and be surrounded by people who don't give a fuck about what's on your mind. Right? I experienced this. I don't have long conversations when I'm working around people. I largely keep my mouth shut because I don't want to entertain profane thoughts just so I can talk to you. Meet me at my level. I'll let you know where my level's at. You let me know when you want to be there. You're welcome to join. Otherwise, I suppose a little bit of small talk. Just because you're an okay guy and I'm here. I'm here to be helpful. It's what you pay me for, to help, right? All right. And so their approach, which likes to venerate deeply the raw material, the law of one, right? It's sad when things have to get to a tragic point like this for there to be a more serious evaluation, because if you couldn't fucking tell that there was something wrong with all of that. But a lot of people, they can't do the hard work. They want to be addicted to healing or addicted to waiting for the healer to come. And over a long enough period of time, you give up having hope for people because they can't find what's there within them. Getting into that whole goddamn conversation, right? It's the conversation that we've been trying to beat over people's heads for a very, very long time within the movement, because of how the woo side of the conversation got hijacked by the people that are broken and not motivated to unbreak themselves. And it's like Star Trek. It's like a Star Trek convention. You go hang out with Daryl Anka. He does his Bashar thing. I have complicated feelings about that, regardless of who's going to laugh at me about it. But overall, right? Because, like, nothing that going there, like, there's nothing that brings the audience into participation. It's just like, buy my stuff and I promise you we will produce disclosure with the money you gave us off of the stuff you bought from off of us that you should get the benefit of once you've read the book or watched the video, done the practice, played with the toy for long enough. You know? And it's all just very disingenuous, and it was fine as an industry before this shift happened. But the world that supported you in this world has, the time has run out, right? The place seems familiar. The purpose in which you were there seems like it's the same point that you are there for. I got 20 people listening right now. How's it going, guys? But it's just not the same. It's just like people can't quite put their finger on what's different in Hollywood movies, right? It's just like, we had to run around and be like, do you realize that this many people are legitimately in trouble in the Epstein files in Hollywood, and it's affecting Hollywood production altogether because of the level of producers involved, the level of investors that are involved, the level of fucking directors and actors, right? And so you got a whole lot of people, for whatever fucking reason, that don't want to be there. They don't want to be associated with that shit. They don't trust any of those people in those environments. And they're isolated, right? And they've not done much better than a lot of other people that dedicated themselves to being tricked into all the protocols, right? We've been living in times where nobody's got any fucking forethought. You'd think David Willcock, with the biggest fucking forehead in the goddamn universe, would have had some forethought of what the fuck was going on. Right? But hey, I get it, man. Everybody wants to be burdened with glorious purpose. And you got to listen to the people, like, you're legitimately crazy versus the I don't believe in you and I call you crazy, right? If I'm calling you crazy, it's because you're legitimately crazy, because I'm the first motherfucker to say that's crazy, but I believe in you. That's a big, big fucking distinction. Hey, what's up, Adam? Vilified Logic, how are you? You're eating a Taco Bell chalupa. Alrighty, well, I'm sorry that you are taking such poor care of your health. But we all got to eat in a hurry, don't we? So, I just see Psychic Driving had driven David off of a fucking cliff. And, I think that, I think he just wanted to have, like, a big, like, public, on the record, like, like, this is it. I'm just gonna take it out, take myself out. Who's gonna stop me? And the only thing that's gonna stop me is one fucking thing coming back that ain't ever gonna come back, and I know it. So he runs out there, does the thing. I don't care that he said he wasn't suicidal. I've been pretty upset at times. Unexpectedly. Had felt, and the moment feels awful, and I suppose it'll pass, and it passes. But, at the time, you hate it so much, you hate yourself so much. You might be in suicidal thought mode just because you can't fucking help it. And I think you, if you've got to have those thoughts, those dark thoughts arise, you have to let them arise. They're just thoughts. It's the reason why it's just a horror movie. It's just a slasher, right? You reconcile why you feel a certain way about the villain when the villain does something, and you feel a little guilty because you kind of liked it. And the only reason you kind of liked it, well, is because the movie set it up with a motherfucker who deserved something. You don't know if they deserved that horrible thing the horror villain just did, but they deserved something, right? And I doubt very much that David could have a relationship with his shadow, right? Or whatever relationship he had with his shadow was obviously completely insufficient. And he knew he was frauding people. Right? He couldn't get away from that because at that point he needed Corey Good. So at any rate, that's the tragedy of David Willcock. All of us need to keep that in mind. If you're not prepared to be disappointed in what others can deliver for you about big things that matter in your life, especially if you're going to do things like what David was doing, you gotta fucking not tell people that it's so goddamn guaranteed. You can't fucking draw people out on false hopes 16 fucking times. Right? You have to fucking let people show you that you're off on something. You've lost your credibility. Right? That doesn't have to be a condemning life sentence. It does mean you gotta disappear. It does mean that maybe you're gonna pull some fucking shit down that you said, and you're gonna pop up someday and say, hey, listen, I was really wrong about a few things. I had to do some soul searching, and I still wanna do something that matters and whatever, and I still care about doing things in this field and whatever, but I'm taking it in this direction because I can't lie to you anymore, right? Like that's like, yeah, I can think of 20 million fucking people that probably could fucking do that. Or should do that. Never did it. At least I can afford to eat, unlike some people who expect handouts. Well, I mean, sure, if you're proud of being just above pond scum, which is what Taco Bell is, I'd rather go to the fucking deli in the grocery store than go to Taco Bell. Right? You realize they use like D-grade beef in Taco Bell, right? So don't get me fucking started. It's fast food. And, but you go ahead and just troll on lazy people that are probably having both a hard time and the fact that the economy is ass anyway. Anyway, thanks, guys. I'll see you later.